Welcome back to my channel. I'm James. Today I've got another exciting installment in my highly requested and very popular video series, Most Wanted 1970s Movies on 4K Ultra HD. And this video series is one that I get tons of requests asking me to make more and more installments in this video series. Well, today is the next big installment, and in this video series I cover tons of announcements, insider studio information, things that are told to me that are being worked on, things that are coming out, tons of huge and hidden 4K Ultra HD announcements that I cover in this video series. Now, if you haven't checked out any of the previous videos in this series, I've done 80s and 90s and 2000s, and there's tons of little hidden announcements and things I've covered in all of those about things that are coming out, that are being worked on for 4K Ultra HD releases. And these are just kind of a fun trip down memory lane, remembering a lot of these great films that we love to watch over and over again. And a lot of these are exciting when you find out that they're coming out on 4K, which is why I think this video series has been so popular. And this installment in this video series does have a ton more announcements. And I think a lot of these are really gonna surprise you, but some of these I actually just found out about the day before I started filming this. The studio let me know these are coming out this year. So there's a lot of these that I think you're gonna be really excited for. So when you get done watching this video, make sure to go check out any of those other videos in this video series. There is a playlist here on my YouTube channel where I put all of these videos. There's tons of exciting things I've announced in all those videos that you're gonna wanna check out as well. Now today's video is gonna be covering the time frame of 1970 to 1979. Now, as always, I don't have time in every video to cover every single title from each decade. So I just go through and pick some of my favorites and some of the ones that are the most well-known to cover in the video and let you know what of these are coming out and what of these are not coming out. Now, keep in mind, if I don't talk about your specific title that you're excited about, it doesn't mean that I didn't like the movie or want to talk about it. I just have to limit the amount of titles I cover in these videos. Otherwise, these videos would be like 10 hours long each. Now, any of the titles and movies that I cover in this video series, I always post all of the Blu-rays, or if the 4K pre-orders are available, I post all of those in the description section and as a pinned comment in the comment section right below each video. I've done all the work for you and I've made it nice and easy and put all of those links for every single thing I cover in the description section and as a pinned comment down below. So if you decide after watching this you want to buy any of the Blu-rays, or you want to pre-order or buy any of the 4Ks if those are available as well, go down to the description section or the pinned comment below and click on those links to order your copies. Now, starting off with the first title here is The Longest Yard. This is the 1974 classic Burt Reynolds comedy sports classic, and it is very funny. It is a great film. I've always really enjoyed it. They've already been working on the full 4K restoration for a 4K Ultra HD release from them this year. This is coming out later this year, and it is a title for me to let you know is coming out on 4K Ultra HD. And it did get a new 4K scan and a 4K restoration. So that's a big announcement that I'm very excited for and looking forward to, because I've always really enjoyed the original Longest Yard. I did like the newer one, but I will say the original was my favorite. Another 4K Ultra HD release that I just found out about is the Andromeda strain. Now, this already had a brand new 4K scan and 4K restoration from Arrow Video. This is going to be coming out from Arrow Video later on. And this is going to be an exciting one because I actually just recently talked to a couple of people here on my YouTube channel asking about the Andromeda strain. This is one that is going to be coming out from Arrow Video later on 4K Ultra HD, which is hugely exciting now to know this, because I've always really enjoyed this, like, I don't know, it's kind of like a almost end of the world feel about like a contagion that wipes out a town and trying to stop it from killing everybody. And it's got really good like horror, sci-fi, end of the world vibes to it. And it's written from a Michael Crichton book, and it's a really well done film that I've always really enjoyed. It's got some really creepy scenes in it that to this day I still remember when I went to see this. That feeling when I saw this film really just kind of creeped me out altogether. So this one's going to be an exciting 4K Ultra HD release here coming out from Arrow Video later on. Now, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to go down and give this video a like and a thumbs up for me. hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. Just like with this video and this video series, I release tons of exclusive content, letting all of you, my viewers and subscribers, know about all of these exciting and upcoming releases that studios notify me about or that they're working on, to get you excited about things, so that way you know if your title or some of these that you're excited about are going to be coming out. So you never want to miss out on any of this exclusive or early content. Especially, I do a lot of early exclusive reviews here on my channel as well. So make sure to go down there and give this video a like and a thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. Next up is The Way We Were. This is the 1973 romantic drama with Robert Redford and Barbra Streisand. And I will tell you, this year is the 50th anniversary for the film, and I was just notified by Sony Pictures that they have completed a 4K restoration with a brand new 4K scan for the 50th anniversary of The Way We Were. And that is coming out later this year from Sony. So that's another huge, exciting announcement that I just heard about that I wanted to share with all of you, so that way you knew this is coming out later this year. And I've always really enjoyed that film. I think Barbra Streisand was great in it, but personally, I'm a massive Robert Redford fan. So this is one that I was really hoping would come out on 4K, and thankfully it's supposed to come out later this year from Sony for its 50th anniversary. So that's another huge, exciting announcement that I hope you're really excited for. Now, any of these that you're excited for, that you're interested in, any of these that you were surprised and didn't know were coming out, make sure to start that conversation in the comment section below. I always love to hear from all of you. But keep in mind, if you want to tell me about any of these that you're excited about that maybe I didn't get to touch on that you hope come on 4K, make sure to start that conversation down there below and let me know about those. Just try to keep the titles for each of these videos in this video series to the time period of the video series. So this one, your comments are going to be based on 1970 to 1979 releases. So try to make sure when you're commenting down below, that way when people come down and they read all these comments, they see their titles from that time period. Each video I try to keep them kind of for that time period of that video series. And then in future ones, when I do 60s and so on, you can add your comments on those as well. It's always a fun time hearing what ones maybe you're excited about, that you're hoping come out on 4K as well. So make sure to start that conversation down there in the comment section below. Another big announcement that I just announced here recently in the last month was Superman, the movie from 1978. It's going to be coming out on 4K Ultra HD in a big 5 cuts 4 movie box set. Now, I kind of wish it had at least 6 cuts in it, and here's why. The reason I'm holding this up is one of my favorite cuts of Superman the movie is Superman the Extended TV cut. Some people thought it drug on a little long. I didn't. I loved all the extra footage that added to Superman. As most of you know, he is my favorite superhero of all time. I grew up seeing these films in theaters and then growing up watching these on VHS and on TV over and over again. I absolutely love the films. I am thrilled for the box set that's coming out on 4K Ultra HD, and there is 2 of them. There's going to be a Steelbook edition, and then there's also going to be a regular edition, which I'm showing you above. Now, the difference between them is the Steelbooks, you get obviously the Steelbooks in it, and you get some comic books and then a certificate of authenticity. Now, I'm going to pin all of the links down below to pre-order those in the description section and as a comment in the comment section below, both editions of it. Though I will say the Steelbook one, they're supposed to be getting more of them back in, so it's supposed to pop in and out of availability. So if you're wanting the Steelbooks, they are an Amazon exclusive, and it is kind of one of those things they're going in and out of availability. And I'll post that link directly from Amazon because they are Amazon exclusives. The only thing that I wish would have been included though is I really badly wish for Superman the movie they would have given us these cuts that are on this Blu-ray from Warner Archive with 4K restorations as well. Though, again, beggars can't be choosers. I'm thrilled that they're going back to Superman 1 and redoing some of the things that I disliked in the original 4K release of Superman the movie on 4K. So it's supposed to have better color grading, some changes, better bitrate, better audio. All of that's supposed to be fixed in this new set. Now, I am going to be getting that in for review. It's going to take me a long time to go through all of it. I mean, obviously, when there's 4 movies and 5 cuts, it does take me a lot of time. But that's a future review you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you don't miss out on. I'm going to dive in and do all my analysis and tell you how it compares and what's good and what's bad on that set. But that's one I am super excited for and thrilled for because I absolutely love the Superman movies, especially the ones with Richard Donner. I mean, Superman 1, Superman 2, they're absolutely amazing. And at least I do own the Blu-ray of these cuts. It's just I really wanted that extended TV cut included in it, so that way I did get that extended footage. But again, I still like the original movie enough that I'm glad they went back and fixed that first one and they're working on that. So that way they're not just throwing in the original 4K disc. It's actually going to have a lot of things fixed on it from the previous 4K. So Warner Brothers, they seem to be doing a decent job with that. We'll have to see when I get that in to do my exclusive analysis and image comparisons. We'll see how that whole set turns out. Next up is one of my favorite 1977 World War II action movies, and I absolutely love this film. The ensemble cast in this is absolutely epic. It is literally one of those just epic World War II movies. Now, it is an MGM title, so it is available for basically anybody to buy the rights to release this on 4K Ultra HD. Though I have not heard anybody is working on it, but I would absolutely love this film. A Bridge Too Far has Sean Connery in it, James Caan, Anthony Hopkins, Elliot Gould, Robert Redford, Ryan O'Neal, and I'm not even touching the amount of actually actors that are in this. That's how impressive this film is. And the Blu-ray is not amazing looking, but this is the best it's ever looked, but this could desperately use a 4K restoration on 4K Ultra HD. And for a World War II film, this is one of those absolutely wonderful epics with one of the largest casts next to The Longest Day, which The Longest Day desperately needs a release, but this one desperately does as well. I would absolutely love it if this one comes out, but I have not heard that anybody is working on this currently. And the reason I always loved this World War II film was because it focused specifically on Operation Market Garden, which, if you know anything about your history, that was actually the largest operation that they did during World War II, which cost the most Allied lives, more so than D-Day. And they said it actually cost more lives than when we stormed Omaha Beach on D-Day. And that's why it's such an interesting story, and it kind of was a big military blunder. But overall, the film itself is so well done telling this story that really doesn't get touched on. That's why I've always enjoyed this. Operation Market Garden, this film is just so darn epic. Touching on some films that really need to be released on 4K with 4K restorations and new 4K scans is the Planet of the Apes. Now, I did cheat a little bit with this one because the first Planet of the Apes is actually 1969 through the rest of them go all the way through 1973. But if you think of the 70s, you can't not think of Planet of the Apes. Every one of these films needs to get a brand new 4K restoration with a 4K scan. And the sad thing is, though, this is owned by 20th Century Fox, which is owned by Disney, and they're not going in and working with their catalog titles at all. I've heard rumors that they're considering possibly licensing out some studios to make some money that would allow them to go in and do 4K restorations and scans, but nothing's been confirmed. Nothing's actually being worked on. It's simply just a rumor that they've said, hey, we're considering it to make some more money. But Disney themselves doesn't seem to want to go back to their catalog of 20th Century Fox titles. So titles like this just sit out there lingering that aren't getting touched on. And I'm telling you, I have always absolutely loved the Planet of the Apes. I grew up watching these films, and the Planet of the Apes TV series is pretty good. And even Planet of the Apes TV series needs to be on Blu-ray, and it's not even on Blu-ray. But these desperately need a restoration work because they are not great looking. There's a lot of damage, a lot of issues, a lot of soft scenes, a lot of things that are just inherent to the fact of how these discs were originally made. Bit rates on them for Blu-rays was not great either. Man, these are one of those wish list titles that I really wish I could demand and get Disney to release them or license it out to somebody. But sadly, these are wish lists wanting all of these films on 4K because as of right now, these are not being touched on. They're not even really being thought about. Next up is one of my favorite Francis Ford Coppola produced, little name drop there, films. Now, he produced this film and it is a wonderful film. I remember it a lot growing up. I've watched this over and over again, and it's The Black Stallion. And it's based on the original classic children's book, which is a wonderful story, but this film is absolutely wonderful. It came out originally in 1979. Now, I do have a little bit of hidden tidbit for you. The 4K restoration with a new 4K scan was already done by Criterion Collection. So a future 4K Ultra HD release of The Black Stallion is very likely. A lot of the work has already been done. They just need to do some new color grading work and obviously do a little bit of restoration work to basically make it up to par for a 4K, but a lot of that work's already been done. So it wouldn't take too much for Criterion to re-release this on 4K Ultra HD, and since they've been doing a lot of their previous releases, This is one I do see us getting here in the next couple of years from Criterion, because it is a title that they've done a lot of the work already for this, and it'd be pretty easy for them to release this. Next up, we have disaster films. Now, Irwin Allen did a ton of these, and I've really always enjoyed them. I mean, there's like Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, obviously the Poseidon Adventure. All of these need to be released on 4K Ultra HD, including 1974's The Towering Inferno. All of these I would really want 4K Ultra HD releases of. I love these disaster films of the 70s. They were a really popular thing, and they're so much fun to watch. They're really big ensemble pieces with tons and tons of actors in them. And yeah, a lot of those actors die off in them, and that's kind of the fun part of watching them. But sadly though, both of these are owned by 20th Century Fox. So the likelihood of us getting either of these on 4K Ultra HD, like I said, Disney owning those rights, I'm not holding my breath. And sadly, I really would love, there's so much, man, if I could just dive through their catalog of what 20th Century Fox has and Disney, I could spend all day making videos about the amount of movies and TV series they have. But these are ones I really want, but again, they're wish list titles that we're probably not really ever going to get. The most that we're going to get is probably these Blu-rays, unless some miracle happens and some studio was able to get them convinced to let them do all 4K restorations on things. But otherwise, it's not very likely. It's probably just going to be these Blu-rays we have. Now, as always for this video series, I've linked every single Blu-ray and 4K that I possibly can in the description section and as a pinned comment in the comment section below. So if you want to buy any of these, especially these 20th Century Fox ones or Disney things that aren't coming out most likely, I'll link all of those down in the description section below. That way, if you want to add any of these to your collection, they'll all be linked down in the description section and as a pinned comment in the comment section below. And those never cost you even a penny extra when you click on those links. But those do help to support this YouTube channel just a tiny bit. So make sure if you want to buy any to click on those links down below. Now, I do have some good news about disaster films. The 1974 Earthquake, which again is a really good disaster film, this one I have heard is being worked on with a new 4K restoration and a new 4K scan. Because Universal owns the rights to this, it is something I've heard is being worked on. Now, who do you think it's coming from? Shout and Scream Factory is who I think is going to release it. They've been licensing out a lot of these films from Universal, and just like they did recently with Dragonheart and things like that I've talked about, this is another title I do see coming out. Even though it's getting a new 4K scan by Universal and things, I see them working with Universal to release it. I'd kind of be surprised if Universal released it on their own. I do really think it's going to be something we see Shout Factory announcing here in the next couple of years. But this is one disaster film from the 70s that thankfully we can look forward to coming out on 4K Ultra HD. Now, you can't talk 70s without talking some great sci-fi, horror, just kind of great feeling films that I've always loved the creepiness out of them. You've got Logan's Run from 1976, you've got the Omega Man from 1971, and you've got Soylent Green from 1973. Now, these two have Charlton Heston in them, and these two I have not heard are being worked on for 4K Ultra HD releases, but I do have a special surprise. Logan's Run is being worked on with a new 4K scan and 4K restoration for a future 4K Ultra HD release. So that is one that at least we'll be excited when that gets out on 4K to kind of test out and review it. But that is one that I love as a sci-fi film, so I'm glad that one's coming out, though I do really want these other two on 4K. There were some creepy kind of like horror vibes that these films had behind them. I mean, the Omega Man was technically a horror sci-fi. Soylent Green did have horror vibes about once you realize what's going on, and it is really creepy and kind of gross when you think about it. I mean, it's really gross. But that's why I said these kind of have horror vibes, whereas Logan's Run was more just a sci-fi. But Logan's Run is thankfully at least being worked on for a future 4K Ultra HD release, so that's good news. But these two, Warner Brothers, I really want these other two on 4K, so once you get done with Logan's Run, if you could please work on these two on your next 4K Ultra HD releases. I know a lot of these studios watch these videos, and that's why I get so many messages letting me know about future releases, because these studios want me to tease and kind of let you know about things that are coming out, which is why I think this is kind of a fun series. Next up, we have one of my all-time favorite John Wayne films from 1971, Big Jake. I think John Wayne in this and Maureen O'Hara are absolutely phenomenal in this. It's one of those John Wayne films where he's definitely way more gruffer, and it even has his son in it, who's actually an actor in it as well, but that's his real son from real life in it that plays his son in the movie. And I really think the film's so enjoyable and so well done. I've always loved this film. Paramount is actually considering this for a future 4K Ultra HD release. Now my understanding is this would fit in with their Paramount Presents line. So this is one they are considering to release for 4K Ultra HD release. So Paramount, this is one I would be hugely excited for. Bring it on. I definitely think this will be a great choice for a future 4K Ultra HD release. We need more John Wayne on 4K Ultra HD. Any John Wayne on 4K is always a good option. Next up, we have more John Wayne. This is the 1974, and John Wayne plays a detective that basically is on the hunt for some killers. It's a really slick action piece by John Sturges, who actually directed The Magnificent Seven that I just recently did a 4K versus Blu-ray exclusive review here on this channel. If you haven't checked out that release, that is a great classic Western. Has a massive ensemble cast on that on 4K Ultra HD that just came out. That review is available right now here on this YouTube channel, so if you want to check out that video, you can go watch that after you get done here with watching this video. But this is another John Sturges movie that I absolutely enjoy. It's not perfect, but it is really enjoyable. John Wayne kind of stepped out into a more serious modern role, and it does have some surprising violence for a John Wayne movie, and I've always really enjoyed this, though nobody that I know of is working on this. My understanding is Warner Brothers owns the rights, but as far as I know, nobody is working on it. But this is a John Wayne film that is a little different than his Westerns, but I've always really enjoyed it. I want this on 4K Ultra HD with a 4K restoration. Now, you can't talk 70s without talking Clint Eastwood. Now, you have the 1970s Two Mules for Sister Sarah. And I do have some good news for all of you that are Clint Eastwood fans. That is being worked on for a new 4K restoration on 4K Ultra HD, and that is coming out here in the future. And that's hugely exciting because I love Clint Eastwood Westerns. I mean, if you haven't checked out some of the Westerns I've reviewed on this channel here, we do have High Plains Drifter. That was a good release. If you haven't checked out that review here on my YouTube channel, and I've done several others that have been released by Kino Lorber on 4K Ultra HD. And that Clint Eastwood Western was great, and I'm excited to see what they do with the rest of the Clint Eastwoods. Now, this is the box that I have that has some of his other films. But since I have this out, let's talk about Joe Kidd. Joe Kidd is another one from the 70s that came out in 1972. Got more exciting news for you if you're a Clint Eastwood fan. That's being worked on and planned for a future 4K Ultra HD release. So, we're going to get Two Mules for Sister Sarah and Joe Kidd here in the future. That's great because I won't need this box set anymore. Because this had High Plains Drifter, which we already got on 4K, which I already reviewed, Two Mules for Sister Sarah and Joe Kidd. So the nice thing is I'll be able to retire this because once those 4Ks come out, I won't need this anymore. So those are big announcements as well. Another big favorite of mine from 1976 is Clint Eastwood's The Outlaw, Josie, Wales. I've been asked a lot about this, especially in that previous review video I did of the High Plains Drifter, if this one's coming out on 4K Ultra HD. I can only tell you this, there's been rumblings and rumors, nothing is confirmed. Warner Brothers has not stated they're working on it, they have not started a restoration process, there is nothing that I can tell you. I'm hoping it is, and I am hoping it's something Warner Brothers does, but I can't say that it's 100% confirmed. It's all rumors at this point. Next up, we've got Westworld, which is a sci-fi Western. And we've got Futureworld, which is a sci-fi Western, as if you know the story, about Westworld, which Futureworld is the sequel. Basically, it's one of those worlds I've always really enjoyed, that they went into the idea of androids, basically. And if you've seen the TV series, the modern TV series, you kind of get the gist of the story. But to be honest with you, I've always enjoyed these original films better than the modern TV series. These films I've always loved, and I can tell you some good news. I have heard Futureworld is being considered for a 4K Ultra HD release. Westworld I have not, but I do see us getting it. Now, who do I think is going to release them? I could see Shout Factory releasing Futureworld because they released this originally. This one's owned by Warner Brothers. I don't know if it's something they're going to do here in the next 2 or 3 years, but I do see it because it's a pretty popular Blu-ray release, and it seems like Warner Brothers kind of goes through their popular titles first to kind of consider what they're going to release. So these are both ones that I'd be hugely excited to see on 4K Ultra HD because I absolutely enjoy these films immensely. Next up, we have Steve Martin's The Jerk from 1979. It's a fun comedy, and it really has some good comedic styling in it. I think Steve Martin was great in this. Obviously, I think this is what really boosted his career. This is a film I really want to see on 4K Ultra HD. Always really enjoyed this film, and it's a fun comedy classic. It's really zany and over the top, and it's directed by Carl Reiner. If you know anything about the Reiner family, he did a good job with this, and it is really a zany film. Can't talk 70s without talking one of my favorite actors of all time, Steve McQueen films. Now, the one from the 70s we're going to reference here is The Getaway. That's a Sam Peckinpah film, and it's a really gritty, well-done action film with Steve McQueen in it. And that one I really hope comes out on 4K Ultra HD. Now, obviously, I want all of these. I really want them to release Bullitt. That would be amazing. Though that one's not from the 70s, but I'm just referencing it. Steve McQueen's films desperately need to be on 4K. I am excited, though. Like I referenced earlier, we got The Magnificent Seven with him in it. And I previously did the Great Escape review. If you haven't checked out that review yet, that's an amazing Steve McQueen film that you have to see on 4K. When you get done watching this video, if you want to know how the transfer is compared to the Blu-ray, if it's something you should buy, make sure to go check out my review video of The Great Escape. But Steve McQueen is one of my favorite actors, and this has such a great feel to it. It's a very, very gritty action film. Sam Peckinpah did a lot of great films from the 70s that I really enjoy and love, and The Getaway is one of those that needs to be on 4K Ultra HD. Now, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to go down and give this video a like and a thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. Another favorite film of mine is Being There from 1979. This film is one of those that a lot of people have never watched because they really just don't know what to think of it because it's never gotten a huge amount of publicity. A lot of people don't talk about it, but it is a great cult classic film that once you do discover it, you have to watch it a second time because it literally ends where you're like, whoa, that was really good. And then you go back and you realize that what you thought at the beginning of the film was kind of slow is not really slow at all. It's just building. This is one of those slow burn crescendo films that builds, and the story has so many intricate things that you really, once you get done watching it the first time, realize there were so many things you kind of just didn't get. Now that you've ended the film, you want to go back and watch it again because now you see those and you want to see it again. This film is so good. I've always loved this film. Now, Criterion has already done some 4K work. They did a 4K digital restoration. They did a 4K scan. So this is one of those that would not take them too much work to release. Though I'm not sure if it's one they're going to do because I'm not sure how well it sold. And I know Criterion kind of looks at their sales to determine, hey, what are we going to release on 4K next? This is one, though, I really want Criterion to release on 4K Ultra HD. I love the film. I love the vibes behind it. I don't really want to tell you the vibes it gives you because it'll kind of ruin part of the film for you if you haven't seen it. The second I'd say the word of what this fits into, it kind of ruins the mystery behind it if you've never seen this film. So I won't ruin it for you, but this is one you need to watch it twice and you need to experience this film because it's really one of those films you'll sit there, have a glass of wine, just enjoy the day, watch the film expand. By the time you get to the end, you realize, wow, I didn't think that was the type of film it was. And then you're like, I want to watch that again. This is one of those that needs to be on 4K. Can't talk 70s without talking Patton. And this is from 1970. Sadly, this is owned by Disney and 20th Century Fox. Likelihood of us getting this as of right now, like I talked about earlier in this video and in all the previous videos, it's not very likely. I don't see us ever getting it on 4K. Would love it though. Again, another really good war film that should be on 4K. And it's really criminal that a lot of these great films that are released by 20th Century Fox and such are not on 4K. But man, this would be a cool one to get on 4K Ultra HD. One of my favorite 5-time Emmy Award-winning films is Brian's Song with James Caan and Billy D. Williams. My dad introduced me to this film many, many years ago, and I've watched this film with him dozens of times. It's one of my dad's favorite films, and I love the film itself. It's a beautiful story. It's based on a true story, and it's so well acted. James Caan was phenomenal in it, and he just recently passed away. But man, this film is one of those I've absolutely loved. Now, I can tell you some good news. Sony is considering this for a 4K Ultra HD release. I would love this on 4K Ultra HD. I really hope it gets a release. If it doesn't, this is kind of one of their print-on-demand Blu-ray releases that a lot of people didn't know about. I'll put that link in the description section below of the Blu-ray release. It's a good-looking one. It's not perfect. It really needs a 4K scan and restoration, But if this is the best we ever get, at least we'd get it on Blu-ray. But man, I really hope that Sony does decide to do a restoration, because this could look gorgeous. And it is an absolutely beautiful film if you have not watched this film yet. It is a sports drama, true story that will touch your heart. And it really is one of those that you walk away from this a better person after watching this film. That is how good this film is. You must watch and check out this film no matter what. Next up, we have the Dirty Harry movies, 1971, 1973, 1976, and so on. Now you have Dirty Harry, Magnum Force, The Enforcer, and there's 5 total films in the Dirty Harry series. Now, I've got some surprising announcements for you. Warner Brothers has been teasing for their 100th anniversary the Dirty Harry movies. Now, I don't have an exact if they've worked on the first Dirty Harry only and they're releasing that on 4K, or if it's going to be a box set that they're going to release on 4K with all 5 Dirty Harry films. Now, my personal preference is them to release all 5 films in a box set, because I would love to have all the Dirty Harry films on 4K Ultra HD in a box set. But all I know is they've been teasing for their 100th anniversary Dirty Harry. We'll have to see if they're going to release just the first one, or whether they're going to release it in a whole box set. Really hope, Warner Brothers, you did the whole box set and not just one. I want all of these on 4K. Another big announcement that I was just notified from Universal about is Duel, the 1971 Steven Spielberg horror classic. Now that film is coming out later this year. Universal just announced they're going to be releasing it later this year on 4K Ultra HD. And that's one of Steven Spielberg's early, and I won't say first film, it's technically his second if you count the TV film before that. So it's technically his second film, but I love Steven Spielberg. I love to collect all of his films, and Duel needs to be on 4K. Thankfully, it is officially announced and coming out later this year. So we will be getting that on 4K Ultra HD with a brand new 4K scan and 4K restoration from the original camera negatives. So that's a huge announcement that I wanted to make sure to share with all of you, because I was just notified about it. Another release I really want to see get released on 4K is Dracula from 1979. I love all these classic horror movies. And Dracula from 1979 with Frank Langella is really a good Dracula film. I think it's not over the top. I think the acting in it's good. The kind of horror and just the feeling behind it I think is well done. And this is one I really hope gets a release on 4K, though I have heard nothing that it's being worked on or getting a restoration. But that is one that I hope to see get that here in the future, especially because we've gotten so many of those Universal Classic Monsters movie collections. And if you haven't checked out either of my reviews, I did both collections, the first collection, second collection. You can check out those reviews here on my YouTube channel. I did 4K versus Blu-ray image comparisons exclusively in those videos that shows you how those compare to the original Blu-ray releases. And I can tell you both those box sets are something you're going to want to check out, because Universal's been doing some great stuff with their horror monster movie collections. Now later this year, we are going to get volume 3 of this horror monster movie collection. Now I know that's kind of a different announcement. I should have waited till my 60s and earlier announcements to do that, but I'm just kind of sharing because I know a lot about a lot of these things that the studio is telling me about. So that is exciting. We are going to get a 3rd edition of the Monsters movie collections later this year. So that is something, I'll do that review of the 3rd one later this year, but that is another exciting one. If you have not checked out those reviews, you're going to want to get caught up on those, so that way you have your box sets and you're caught up before the 3rd one comes out of those monster movie collections. Rounding out this video is one of my favorite movies by George A. Romero. Now, it is called The Crazies from 1973, and it really is a classic horror movie. I have some great news. It is being worked on currently, actually by 2 different studios, with a 4K scan, 4K restoration. They're trying to repair a lot of things because The Crazies was rough looking. It had a lot of issues, a lot of film damage, because it came out in 1973 and was a very early on George A. Romero film. I've always really enjoyed the film. I love almost all of George A. Romero's catalog of films. It's a great classic horror movie. I am really excited about that one. I'm so glad that's being worked on. Let me know in the comment section below what of these you're excited about. Now, I've also pinned all of the links for all of these releases on Blu-ray and what 4K pre-orders are available down in the comment section and in the description section right below. I've done all the work for you. You click on those links, it never costs you even a penny extra, it takes you straight out to Amazon to buy any of your copies. Now when you're commenting below, make sure to share the titles that you would want to see on 4K from the time period of 1970 to 1979. Try to keep them in that time period. I know it's really hard for a lot of you, and it's kind of fun. I like to tease you because you didn't keep it in that time period. But there's so many great titles out there, and like I said, this video series is a fun time of me getting to share all these little hidden things I know about that studios notify me about, so that way you can be excited as well and know about what's coming out. Make sure to start the conversation down there below and let me know what of these you were surprised that I announced. I always love to hear what of these that I announced and were hidden announcements in this video that you were excited about that you had no clue were being worked on. So make sure to start that conversation down there in the comment section below. I always look forward to hear from all of you. If you enjoy all of the time, the hard work, and my heart and soul that I put into every single one of these videos I create here on my YouTube channel, make sure to join my Collectors VIP Club. It truly does make a difference. You get a ton of perks for joining that. You get VIP Club member badging, you get early access to some videos, you get early voting, you get exclusive voting, you get emojis. There's tons of benefits and perks you get from joining my Collectors VIP Club. And the biggest thing is that's how it supports the creation of these videos. I'm not sponsored and I'm not paid by anybody. The only way I can always continue to create all these videos here on this YouTube channel is through you, my VIP Club member support. Make sure to join the Collectors VIP Club or give us super thanks through the super thanks button down below. The VIP Club only costs you a couple of bucks each month. You get a bunch of perks with it, but it drastically makes a difference in the creation of these videos. I have to pay for all the software, the time, getting all the data together, and spending all this time creating all these videos. And it can only be done through you, my viewers and subscribers' support. I just want to say thank you to all my VIP Club members. You truly do make a difference. Without you, none of these videos are possible. So you really do make a difference, and I just want to say thank you. As always, I truly hope all of you have a blessed day, that you've really enjoyed this exciting video series, and I've always got something new and very exciting coming out very soon.